This is infrared sensor footage that AARO assesses as likely coming from a United States military platform operating in the CENTCOM area of responsibility in 2020. The uploader gave the file the title 24 August 2020 callsign mission observes UAP, and a user placed a clip on a classified network in August of 2020. The file runs just under 5 minutes, and for most of that time, a sensor is tracking a small area of contrast against the background. Early in the clip, the sensor follows that area as it moves down the left side of the frame. Moments later, the camera pans to keep that patch of contrast near the center of the field of view. After the initial pan, the system zooms in and holds on the same area as the image changes scale and the contrast becomes more pronounced. The tracked area briefly leaves the field of view and then returns several times before the active footage ends. For the remainder of the recording, there is no additional imaging to analyze. On March 6, 2026, 8 members of the United States House of Representatives requested access to 51 potentially UAP-related records allegedly held by the Department of War and elements of the intelligence community. AARO identified a collection of responsive materials on a classified network during that review, and the office notes that many items in the collection lack a substantiated chain of custody. That assessment is why this clip appears in the Pursue release batch and why analysts flag its provenance as uncertain. The imagery itself is limited by sensor type and range. The clip records a single small contrast feature being tracked and does not provide clear shape details or surface signatures that would identify what the thermal contrast represents. The sequence is useful as a record of an observation made by a platform sensor, but alone it is insufficient to determine whether the contrast represents a sensor artifact, a benign object, or something that warrants further study. This video was provided to the public on May 22, 2026, as part of a larger review that seeks to consolidate potentially related records and to respond to congressional interest. The catalog entry lists the clip as derived from an infrared source aboard a platform operating in the CENTCOM area, recorded in 2020 and included in the Pursue release. The Department of War is the originating agency on the item, though AARO cautions that lack of chain of custody limits the evidentiary weight of many files in this collection. From an analytic perspective, the clip is notable for how an automated or operator-guided sensor tracked a small contrast feature through multiple camera moves, and for how little additional corroborating data accompanies the recording. In plain terms, the video documents that a thermal anomaly was observed and followed by the sensor, but it does not itself explain the cause. If you are studying UAP reporting, this is the sort of case where the observation is recorded cleanly by a single sensor, but additional sources would be required to reach a confident explanation. Explore the case file, related footage, sighting reports, and our weekly UAP news podcast at uapdrop.com.